Red,
Yes.
there's a story behind when you left the Dodgers to announce for the Yankees. It certainly sent shockwaves, I think, among Brooklyn fans at the time. It was almost like a great ball player being traded to the enemy. What happened to cause you to leave Brooklyn and go over to the Yankees at that time?
Well, I didn't leave Brooklyn to go to the Yankees, as you said. When I left Brooklyn, when I quit Brooklyn, I was out of work. And a week after I had left Brooklyn, the Yankees came to me and asked me if I wanted to come over to the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I said yes. It's very simple and very complex. Walter O'Malley and Branch Rickey came to the bitterest parting that two men could come to over control of the Dodgers and over the ownership of Mr. Rickey's stock. And I was Mr. Rickey's man. So I told O'Malley, after he got control of the ball club, that I was Rickey's friend and would continue to be. I'd do the best I could at Brooklyn, but that if he wanted another broadcaster, I'd be glad to tear up my contract. And he said, no, we want you to stay. You're very valuable. Well, as 3 years went by, it became very plain, Tom, that Mr. O'Malley and I had different ideas about the broadcast, different ideas about a lot of things. And it seemed to me that the time had come for me to leave. And the final decision was made when I resigned the World Series of 1953. And I called O'Malley to tell him that I was resigning the World Series because, after all, I was his principal announcer, and his team was going to be in the World Series. And I started to tell him, and he cut me off. He said, that's your problem. I'll put Scully on in your place. Well, I just hung up the phone and said to myself, well, the Dodgers are your problem from now on, Walter. That was it.
You also there's also an interesting story about how you left the Yankees, and I wonder if you'd share that with us.
I didn't leave the Yankees.
You were fired from the Yankees, I guess, to be.
I was completely taken by surprise when Michael Burke said a very short sentence over a cup of coffee. We no longer seek to renew your contract. Wasn't that graceful?
It's kind of symptomatic of this business when people like yourself and another great professional, Mel Allen, could get fired.
He was fired 2 years
yes.
before I was.
But wasn't your firing connected to this business about you mentioning the lack of attendance at a Yankee game when they were at their absolute nadir in attendance?
Well, oh yes, there was that. That was a factor, but I think the decision had been coming. Things were changing, Tom, and I just wasn't smart enough to realize that I should have done at Yankee Stadium what I did at Brooklyn.
And left on your own terms.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes, our ego gets in the way of our judgment. I thought I was too valuable to be dismissed so abruptly.
What was your?
Found out I wasn't.
Excuse me, Ray. What was your own personal highlight in calling play-by-play? What is there one magic moment that sticks out among all the magic moments of your broadcasting career?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say there are two situations. One, after World War II broke out, I was the first person to make a blood donor appeal. Until I did it, to mention blood on the air was verboten. It was understood that you just didn't speak of blood. And I did the first appeal and continued to do them, and all during the war. And the Brooklyn Red Cross never needed donors to come in once we started making the appeal and giving the Blood Donor Center phone number. Then the other was, I think, the way that I handled the coming of Jackie Robinson. I've never received criticism about that.
One final thing before I let you go, Red. I know that Vin Scully was kind of a protege of yours when Vin came over.
Not kind of.
And I'm wondering how you view announcers today and how you view Vin's emergence as a network telecaster.
I don't think there's any question. He's our best play-by-play baseball announcer.
Well, I'll tell you something. I was unfortunate enough at my age when I tuned into Dodgers games, you'd already left, and I was weaned on Vin Scully at the time, and I couldn't agree with you more. And, Red, it has been my absolute pleasure to have you with us today. I thank you so much for your time, and I'll be listening to you because you do phone in those reports on public radio from Tallahassee every Friday morning, and I don't miss any of them.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, Red. Thank you. Bye-bye. Red Barber, one of the great Hall of Fame broadcasters, and certainly a gentleman, and great having him on the show. And Tom Cardella, we'll be back right after this.